Hi, I'm Renee Smith.
And I'm Tammy Fellers, and we're math consultants at ESDAC in Hutchinson, Kansas.
Today we're here to talk about a new deck that we've developed, and this one again is about place value because as we've spoken with teachers, we've discovered how difficult a concept this is, especially for our youngest children.
Absolutely.
In kindergarten, those teen numbers are just crazy,
Yeah.
how difficult they are for kids. And so this particular deck is called Layering Place Value, and you'll see why in just a minute.
And so we're really helping kids to unitize that 10 and then move on from there. So one of the things that we can do is just simply build 16. And so I'm going to build 16, and the mat, we have a couple of different ways we're going to show you you could do this, but we do have your tens frames mat included in this, and of course you can use whatever you want. We're using Unifix cubes to fill ours with. And so I'm going to build my 16.
Oh, you're killing me, Tam.
And so now I have 10 and 6, and I at 16. So one of the things your kids can then do is we've built on the back, these are self-checking, they can flip the cards over and see that they match.
And the thing that I really like about this and the way this is done is it really does help kids start to see this quantity as 10, and then they can arrange the leftovers, the extras, in any way that they choose, just so that they have those 4 left out.
Correct. Some kids will fill the 5. Other kids may do it, if you will, by doubles and come up. But either way, I have 4 spaces left, and I have 4 spaces left on my answer. So they can just practice on building those, and we have all of the 10s and 1s with the 10s frame model showing, or the to 20, I should say.
And the other thing that you might notice is that there is also the expanded form to show students that this is 10, a 1 in the 10s place and a 6 in the 1s place, and their values are worth 10 and 6. So they're actually seeing the expanded form of that number as well.
Absolutely.
The thing that we have also included, as usual, is an accountability piece for that. So after they've built that, in the build it part of the activity, they can record their answers both pictorially and numerically on a piece of accountability.
Yeah, and so another activity we could do is I could have a 10s pile and a 1s pile for students to draw from, and a kid draw a 10 and a 1, and their partner draw a 10 and a 1. And so now I have 42.
And I have 24. And so the thing that we could do now is use another accountability piece to do comparisons of numbers. And so we could record my numbers were 24, Tammy's numbers were 42. Her accountability sheet would be the opposite of that.
Right.
And then we could circle the greatest quantity, or the next time the least quantity. And as you all know, because we've talked about it before, the research tells us that less than, smaller, is more difficult for children to understand, and so we probably should be doing that twice as much as we're doing greater than.
Absolutely. And again, students can check. Renee flipped your cards over, and we'll put these up here maybe so we can see in the camera. So had we said, we should have said our answer first.
Right.
Mine was the greater number.
Right.
I should be able to visually also then check and see. One thing we do want you to notice, because not only we showed you the last one, we use 10s frames, and we do the 10s frames up to 20. We don't put bigger than the double 10s frame on there. The other thing we will have you notice is that we've also built these with the base 10 blocks, and we've made the unit cubes match so that you could do activities as kids started out.
Obviously, we couldn't do that with the rods or the flats because they wouldn't fit on the card in great quantities, but it will start to help kids make that transition from Unifix cubes and counting by 1s to actually counting by 10s.
Absolutely. So then another activity that you could do, because after you are out of kindergarten and really now focused on numbers higher than 20, we go all the way up in the 10s column to 90 and then bumping over to 100. Another activity you could do, we also have the hundreds values all the way up to, so 999 is the biggest number that you could do.
Oh, and actually I think I was supposed to have these turned this way this time.
And,
Yeah, there we go. So they would start with the cards in the pictorial representation this time.
and so now they can record on their sheet 316 because I have 3 hundreds, 1 10, 6 ones, okay? And I could write it in standard form, which they can then flip over and check. They can also write it in expanded form, which they also can check
here.
because it'll say 300 plus 10 plus 6. So I could write those down and have a sheet to record on. Probably when we get to the hundreds place, we're not going to be having them build.
Although you could get the flats out and have them do that if that's still a necessary skill.
Absolutely. And it may be a necessary skill as you transition from the tens column to the hundreds column.
right.
You know, when I get 10 tens, what does that make? Certainly may need to start off with some of those activities. So these are some ideas for layering place value that we have created in this deck. It comes with our normal task sheet for directions, extensions, student accountability possibilities, as well as all the maths you've seen today and Isaiah's you've seen today. Those are included in that PDF.
Thanks for joining us.